I try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this play.
Jacy Sheldon's eye poke on Caitlin Clark wasn't just a foul, it was a message. And the laughably small fine the league handed out sent an even clearer one. The biggest star in women's basketball is officially fair game. This single moment has ignited a firestorm, exposing a darker story of bitterness, a broken system of justice, and the baffling reason why the WNBA seems willing to sacrifice its own savior. This wasn't just a bad call, it was a calculated assault that has blown the lid off a crisis that could destroy the league from within.
Sheldon was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big fuck you 3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. Her and Jacy Sheldon come back together. Caitlin fires up the audience, basically tells Jacy Sheldon, you are a bum.
The incident that confirmed everyone's worst fears was so blatant, so far removed from a legitimate basketball play, that it couldn't be ignored. During a game against the Connecticut Sun, Jacy Sheldon, a longtime rival of Clark's, didn't just foul her, she executed what many have called a calculated assault. As Clark handled the ball, Sheldon lunged forward, not for the ball, but directly for Clark's face, poking her squarely in the eye.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about this.
It was a move with the potential for career-ending damage. The most damning evidence wasn't just the act itself, but the subtle, malicious grin on Sheldon's face afterward. A look that told the whole world this was personal. This wasn't a mistake in the heat of the moment. This was a message being sent, the latest and most vicious in a season-long campaign of physical abuse aimed at the league's biggest star.
Clark and Jacy Sheldon. There's a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay. This is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
But to understand the true venom behind that eye poke, you have to look beyond the professional court. This wasn't just a random act of aggression, it was the explosive culmination of a rivalry forged in years of collegiate animosity. Jacy Sheldon was a star player for Ohio State, a team that harbored a well-known and intense hatred for Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes. These two were direct matchups in some of the most heated games in recent college basketball history.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running the friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
Forget Angel Reese or any other media-hyped rivalry. For those in the know, Sheldon was Clark's one true nemesis on the court. This history adds a chilling layer of premeditation to the foul. It suggests that when Sheldon saw Clark in a WNBA uniform, she wasn't just seeing an opponent, she was seeing the face of a rivalry she desperately wanted to win by any means necessary.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
And as if one targeted attack wasn't enough, the chaos that followed revealed a WNBA system that appears completely broken. Immediately after Sheldon's eye poke, as Clark was still reeling, another player, Marina Mabrey, shoved Clark to the ground from behind, an additional uncalled for act of aggression. But the most twisted part of this entire sequence came next.
Look at it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlyn and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlyn up until that point, but she leapt forward, and it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlyn was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
The only player who stepped up to defend Clark with a hard, strategic foul of her own was Sophie Cunningham. And how was she rewarded for protecting the league's most valuable player? She was hit with a flagrant foul and a subsequent fine from the league. The message sent by the WNBA was dangerously clear. Attack Caitlin Clark and you might get a slap on the wrist, but dare to defend her and you will be punished. It's a backwards incentive structure that essentially green lights the abuse.
How he'd stop the fighting, he thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlin Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
The world was watching, and the outrage was immediate and deafening. This wasn't just a story for sports blogs anymore, it had become a mainstream cultural firestorm. On The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon looked directly into the camera and pleaded with the WNBA, protect Caitlin Clark at all costs. Please, enough of this. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports didn't hold back, labeling the players targeting Clark as jealous loser punks who should be playing in a rec league.
Listen, bring Caitlin Clark to the NBA right now, because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlin Clark now. Now I'm even watching, I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlin Clark get treated. Now, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your spawn, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlin Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
When late-night hosts and massive media personalities are publicly shaming your league's conduct, you know you have failed on a spectacular level. The WNBA's dirty little secret, its inability or unwillingness to protect its star, was now exposed for the entire world to see, turning a PR nightmare into a full-blown crisis of legitimacy.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabrey's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabrey one. Marina Mabrey was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabrey did that.
To truly grasp the insanity of the league's inaction, you have to understand the numbers. This isn't just about sportsmanship, it's about mind-boggling sums of money. According to Dr. Ryan Brewer, a professor of finance, Caitlin Clark was responsible for a stunning 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity in her rookie season. Think about that for a second. One player making just over $76,000 was driving more than a quarter of the entire league's financial success. Brewer's projections for 2025 are even more staggering. He estimates Clark could generate nearly $1 billion in total economic impact for the WNBA. That's billion, with a B. When a single player is your entire business model, allowing her to be systematically attacked isn't just morally bankrupt, it's an act of financial self-destruction on an epic scale.
What you have in Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She was massively successful in college. And that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year. And you're not protecting your...
So, how did the WNBA respond to this blatant, career-threatening attack on their billion-dollar asset? With a punishment so weak, it was a profound insult. Jacy Sheldon was given a flagrant 1 foul, which carried an automatic fine of just $2,000. Marina Mabry's technical foul resulted in a fine of only $400. To put that in perspective, Sheldon's punishment for deliberately endangering the vision of the woman funding the league is less than what most people spend on a weekend getaway. It's a fine that can be paid out of petty cash, a consequence so meaningless it serves as an encouragement, not a deterrent. The league had a chance to send a powerful message that their superstar was off limits. Instead, they sent a message of stunning incompetence and disrespect.
One could argue she is an A-level star, and they don't even have B and C level stars. From A, it drops to D. She is the entire league, and they allow things like this to happen last night against the Connecticut Sun.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
And Marina Mabry, I missed that one, Edona.
Oh, I missed that one too.
Like, it wasn't just a hard foul accident. Like, there's nothing Caitlin Clark has done in response at this point. So what's the point in bowing up into her face? And immediately, I don't think Caitlin's even extended her arm to push her away. Maybe the coaching is, hey, if you're physical with Caitlin Clark, it's one of the only ways to stop her. Yes. So, like, they're all encouraged to be really physically aggressive. But it's hard not to look at this and think there's animus towards her. You got to protect Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA.
This pathetic response has ignited a fan uprising unlike anything the league has ever seen. Supporters are no longer just complaining online, they are organizing and demanding radical change. Multiple petitions have gathered thousands of signatures calling for severe discipline. They aren't asking for slaps on the wrist, they are demanding fines in the tens of thousands of dollars, arguing that anything less than a significant chunk of a player's salary is not a real deterrent, and a new revolutionary idea has taken hold. Fans are demanding that a portion of any fine levied against an attacker be paid directly to Caitlin Clark as compensation. The logic is simple. If she is being subjected to abuse no other player has ever faced because of her unprecedented value, she deserves to be compensated for it.
Caitlin Clark is non-disrespectable. That's not even a word, but I'm gonna just use it for the point of my video. You cannot disrespect the nucleus of women's basketball and act like it's not going to be a problem, man. Oh, Caitlin Clark could do this, but other people can't. You goddamn right. Because she's the center of women's basketball. We've said this a million times. Clark changed the game. She is the nucleus, the center, the black hole. Everything revolves around Clark with women's basketball, man, because of her influence.
But the league office isn't the only one failing her. A huge part of the fan outrage stems from what is happening, or not happening, on the court with the referees themselves. Time and time again, obvious fouls against Clark are ignored, blatant attacks are downgraded, and she is often penalized for any slight reaction to the abuse. This inconsistent officiating has created an environment of lawlessness specifically around her. It's led many to wonder if this is just incompetence, or something more sinister. Is there an unwritten rule to let them play only when it comes to roughing up Clark as a way to humble the league's new superstar? When the men in stripes refuse to do their jobs, they force the league to step in after the fact. But as we've seen, the league's post-game punishments are a joke, leaving Clark in a dangerous limbo with no protection from anyone.
Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. Every game she is dropping golden eggs, and they are trying to strangle the golden goose to death. There's jealousy, there is hate. Everyone in the league seems to hate the fact that Caitlin Clark is making the league relevant. If I were advising Caitlin Clark, I would say start your own pro basketball league for women. I don't know why she benefits from the WNBA at all. She could go out, she is the draw for women's basketball, and set up her own league. She might even be able to own the majority of the league. She could probably become a billionaire, set it up with far fewer teams, you play far fewer games, Heck, they did it with Live Golf. I think the audience would follow Caitlin Clark wherever she goes.
With no protection on the court and no justice from the front office, the most explosive question of all has surfaced. What if the solution isn't to fix the WNBA, but to abandon it? The ultimate threat, the nuclear option, is the growing idea that Caitlin Clark could start her own league. It sounds radical, but think about it. The fans, the media, the billion-dollar sponsorships, they aren't loyal to the WNBA logo, they are loyal to her. Just as Live Golf proved that star power can fracture a legacy sport, Clark has the leverage to do the same. She could become a majority owner, a billionaire, and create a league built on respect where players are protected and compensated properly. The WNBA is treating her like a temporary asset, but they're forgetting one crucial fact: she holds all the cards. The WNBA is now at a dangerous crossroads. It is a league that owes its newfound relevance, its soaring ratings, and its financial future almost entirely to one 22-year-old woman. Yet, it has created an environment where that same woman is treated like a human punching bag, where her defenders are punished and her attackers are given a pass. The failure to protect Caitlin Clark is a catastrophic business error. The solution must be severe, financially crippling penalties for anyone who targets her. Because if the WNBA continues to allow its golden goose to be strangled, it's only a matter of time before she realizes she doesn't need them at all. She could take her talent, her fans, and her billion-dollar influence and build a new kingdom, leaving the old one to crumble into irrelevance.